After seeing Wolverine, Ancient Ape, and Deathlark risk their lives to destroy the pillars and were injured by the protective energy of the pillars, I went berserk, roaring as I charged at the spinning shadow monster. Feeling the rapidly fading life force of Deathlark and others, Base fell into deep guilt. This is all my fault. It should have been me paying with my life, not you. Then, she transformed into Base monster form and stood at the front of the Red Palace, ready to open the door again. This would be my second time opening this door. The door representing supreme power, but this time not for me, but for the future of Abyss Island. With a bang, the door was opened, and instantly a stream of energy floated out from the palace. Base walked straight to the red crystal inside. Looking at this culprit that once made her crazy, she didn't hesitate and reached out her hand again. At that moment, the energy from the red crystal plunged her into excruciating agony, flooding into her body. Seeing this, both I and the spinning shadow monster were shocked. Base, you've finally shown your true colors. It seems you still can't resist the temptation of the red crystal's energy. Aren't you afraid of creating another dark Base? As I heard this, my face filled with worry, but Base transformed the red energy she had absorbed into clear energy. Dark Base, I should actually thank you, because you took away all my greed, allowing me now to willingly sacrifice for others. These little ones are the future of Abyss Island, and I'm prepared to sacrifice even my life to save them. I'll use this broken body to filter out the negative emotions of the red crystal to reshape them. And then she directly infused the clear energy into the unconscious bodies of Deathlark, Wolverine, and Ancient Ape. Hearing Base's words, I was moved to tears. But at that moment, the spinning shadow monster rushed towards Base. You fool, you're going to burst from absorbing too much red energy. Isn't this what you always wanted to see? Your plan is about to come true. Saying this, Base began to slowly fall. You maniacs. Before dying, give me all your life essence. Seeing this, I quickly gathered energy and then spat several explosive bombs in front of the spinning shadow monster, successfully stopping her. Damn lizard, since you're so eager to die, then I'll grant your wish first. Spinning shadow monster, since you like playing with yo-yos so much, then I'll join you. Saying this, I wrapped a chain around myself and started spinning with the reverse fin slash. Haha, you think you can? Just don't accidentally strangle yourself. As her words fell, I indeed tangled the chain into a mess, nearly suffocating myself. Seeing this, the spinning shadow monster laughed loudly and started spinning faster, bending the pillar. Stupid dragon, this time I'm definitely going to split you in half. Seeing this, I started spinning and used my body weight to bend the pillar even more. If I attack the pillar now, it should also trigger the pillar's defensive rebound. I wonder if my lava form scorching the pillar will also be rebounded. Thinking this, I decisively switched to lava form, ready to give it my all. As the spinning shadow monster used spiral slash towards me, I was also ejected by the pillar, then used the lava fin slash towards the spinning shadow monster. With a loud bang, our attacks collided instantly, the immense force causing me to spit out blood, and then with a crash, I fell to the ground. The chain connected to the pillar also instantly broke into countless pieces. When the dust settled, my eyes rolled back, and I passed out. Just when the spinning shadow monster thought she had won, gloating triumphantly, suddenly a fiery attack struck her from the sky, hitting her unguarded from above and knocking her down. How is this possible? How can he be so strong? That second attack was indeed the rebounded force of my lava form. As the spinning shadow monster let out a reluctant roar, she was quickly engulfed by lava flames. Meanwhile, inside the palace, Base, gasping for breath from absorbing too much red energy, had a massive black energy surge into her. It was the life essence of Dark Base, separated from her body. Since Lin Shan killed Dark Base, his life essence had returned. Meanwhile, on the other side of the battlefield, Polar Bear and the Wolf Leader were surrounded by the Secret Realm's giant beasts. Just as they were about to be torn apart, the previously frenzied giants suddenly came to their senses within a second and turned tail, running away as if they had realized something. Seeing this, Polar Bear was baffled. Why did these guys suddenly stop fighting? It's like they've lost their will to fight. It must be that those lords have defeated the spinning shadow monster. Quick, let's check it out. When they arrived at the Red Palace, they were shocked by the tragic scene before them. Seeing all the great kings unconscious on the ground, the Wolf Leader hurriedly instructed his followers to help them, while Polar Bear rushed to the severely injured Base. At that moment, Deathlark noticed her wounds had healed, and she felt an increase in the Secret Realm's energy within her. Puzzled, why not only have my injuries healed, but the energy inside me seems to have increased a lot. Then she suddenly heard Ancient Ape's cries. Dragon brother, are you okay? Wake up, please. Following the voice, she was shocked to see me lying on the ground. Something's wrong with Ugly Dragon? As Ancient Ape and the others gathered around me with concern, Base explained. Lin Shan used the last of his strength to execute the lava fin slash, successfully slaying Dark Base, but he was also severely wounded by Dark Base's spiral slash and the defensive rebound from the pillars. I used my body as a medium to filter the negative energy of the red crystal and treated you, but at that time, Lin Shan was in the midst of a fierce battle with Dark Base, so he didn't receive my treatment. Hearing this, Ancient Ape urgently pleaded with Base, please save Dragon brother, but Base regretfully said, after Dark Base was slain, that portion of dark energy returned to my body. Now, if I continue to filter the crystal energy, it might release release another dark base. Could I use my body to filter the crystal energy to save Lin Shen? Hearing this, Base helplessly said, although you've been treated by me and are no longer affected by the crystal energy, I cannot guide energy using someone else's body. As Ancient Ape and the others looked worried but had no solution, Base continued, there is only one way to save him now, but it's very dangerous. Hearing this, they eagerly asked, what way? We're willing to try anything if it can save Lin Shen, no matter how dangerous. If so, then I'll join you in taking a risk. Wolf brother, Bird sister, and Ape sister, carry Lin Shen and follow me into the Red Palace. You, with the monsters of Abyss Island, stay on the outskirts of the palace and don't let anyone step inside. After Polar Bear and the others left, Base led Ancient Ape and the rest into the palace. Then, she signaled Ancient Ape to place me next to the red crystal. However, just as Ancient Ape was putting me down, the crystal suddenly emitted a massive amount of energy, surging into me. The next second, I violently awoke, immediately emitting a heart-wrenching scream. Seeing this, Base explained to the others, he's probably like I was back then, trapped in endless darkness, experiencing agonizing pain as if being torn apart. Hearing this, Ancient Ape worriedly asked, Lord Base, what should we do now? All we can do now is wait, hoping Lin Shen can suppress his own greed. Meanwhile, in Lin Shen's consciousness, there was an endless darkness. He was curled up in agony. Just then, memories of being bullied by classmates suddenly surfaced. You crybaby, you dared to tell the teacher. See if you dare again next time. I'm not a crybaby. Why do you always bully me? I want to become stronger. I want to be stronger than all of you. I want you all to be afraid of me. As Lin Shen's negative emotions intensified, a huge red shadow suddenly appeared behind him. Meanwhile, in reality, the previously agonized me suddenly got up, emitting a roar. Immediately after, a shadow burst out from my body, roaring angrily at Base and the others. The dark side inside Lin Shen is emerging. Everyone be careful. Not knowing what kind of monster it would be, just as he finished speaking, a red monster separated from my body and then roared towards the sky. And this monster was a red Godzilla. Watching the raging little red Godzilla, Deathlark laughed loudly. Haha, is this the monster formed by Ugly Dragon's dark side? It's so funny. It's just a little one. Ancient Ape showed an incredulous expression. This little red Godzilla, apart from the color, is just like a young version of Dragon Brother. At that moment, Base cautioned everyone, because everyone's greed is different. The dark forms that appear are also different. Don't be fooled by his appearance. It's best to be careful. However, Deathlark started to playfully poke at the little red Godzilla. What's there to be afraid of with this little guy? When Ugly Dragon was trapped in a basket, I bullied him all the time. But when the little red Godzilla turned and saw me on the ground, covered in wounds, he suddenly became enraged. Was it you who turned Dragon Dad into this? How dare you bully my Dragon Dad? You're asking for death. Saying this, he lunged at Deathlark with an explosive bite. Damn, how can this little brat start fighting just like that? You little brat, stop biting my feathers. With that, she flapped her wings and sent a hurricane towards the little red Godzilla. The little red Godzilla dodged Deathlark's attack with a sidestep, then spat out several explosive bombs at her. Watch me burn off your feathers, bald bird. Hearing herself being called a bald bird, Deathlark angrily lunged at the little red Godzilla. Little brat, watch me tear your stinky mouth apart. At this moment, Ancient Ape asked confusedly, Lord Base, the little red Godzilla just called Lin Shen Dragon Dad. His threat shouldn't be that great, right? No matter what, he's indeed condensed from the red energy, perhaps still immature at the time of his formation. He can use all of Lin Shen's moves, and if left unchecked, the consequences are unimaginable. Hearing this, Wolverine also realized the severity of the situation. If so, then we should take him down before he has a chance to grow stronger. Thus, taking advantage of the fight between Little Red Godzilla and Deathlark, Wolverine used Gold Slash towards Little Red Godzilla. Seeing this, Little Red Godzilla immediately leaped back to dodge the attack. You shameless wolf, still resorting to sneak attacks at your age. After saying this, Little Red Godzilla used a mental attack, Dragon Roar, on Wolverine. Taking advantage of Wolverine's momentary daze, he pounced directly at him. So you think you're the only one who can use a sword? I can too. Following this, he rapidly spun, unleashing Godzilla's Dragon Fin Slash. Deathlark quickly warned Wolverine, be careful. Just as Wolverine regained his senses, he coldly snorted and countered Little Red Godzilla's Dragon Fin Slash with his own Gold Slash. With a bang, Little Red Godzilla grunted as he was sent flying backward, and Wolverine skidded back several meters across the ground, his face in disbelief. This little guy might be small, but he's strong. At this time, Little Red Godzilla stood up, fuming. All of you ganging up on a kid, you're forcing my hand. Saying this, Little Red Godzilla began to frantically absorb the energy from the red crystal. Base, seeing this, was shocked. Quick, stop him. He's frantically absorbing the energy from the red crystals. However, Little Red Godzilla absorbed energy faster than anyone anticipated. In an instant, he began to gather energy in his mouth. Everyone, get away. This is Lin Shen's explosive breath. As soon as he finished speaking, Little Red Godzilla unleashed the explosive breath forward. At this moment, Base transformed into Bai Sidong and explained, he's able to cast Blurst Breath quickly because of the red crystal's energy. After speaking, Bai Sidong pulled out a large hammer. Let's all go together and keep him away from the red crystal. She was the first to leap up, aiming for little red Godzilla from above. However, when her hammer came down, little red Godzilla dodged. Can you dodge this? Sisters, show yourselves. Following that, another Baisidang appeared behind little red Godzilla and smashed him into the air, causing a large bump to form on his head. At the same time, 3 Baisatangs with parking signs appeared in front of little red Godzilla and started a furious assault. Then, more Baisatangs swarmed in, pounding him back to the ground. Watching this scene, Deathlark and Wolverine were speechless. So when Bai said, "Let's all go up," she wasn't actually talking to us. At this moment, little red Godzilla, holding his head, said indignantly, "It's too much for so many people to beat up one kid." After saying this, he suddenly stood up, using the skill Dragon Life 9 Sons. "Isn't it just clones? Let me introduce you to my 8 brothers." Seeing this, Baisidang was shocked. "Isn't this Linshin's Dragon Life 9 Sons skill? Why are there only 8? Could this little dragon cub be one of the Dragon Life 9 Sons?" At that moment, little red Godzilla waved his hand. "Go, brothers. These women are bullying me. Take revenge for me." Seeing this, Baisidang rushed towards little red Godzilla. "So what if there are many of you? I can handle even the toughest, let alone you little ones." Ancient Ape and the others stood by, faces full of helplessness, the scene before them resembling a child's fight. At that moment, Baisidang, sporting a black eye, shouted, "What are you standing around for? Come and help." However, as Ancient Ape and the others hesitated about whether to help, Bai's gained another black eye. The little red Godzilla looked back and met Ancient Ape eyes. The little red Godzilla suddenly ran like mad, charging straight past Deathlark and Wolverine, then pounced towards Ancient Ape. Wolverine, seeing this, shouted, "Ancient Ape, be careful." However, the next second, little red Godzilla dove right into Ancient Ape's arms and began rubbing his face against hers. "Your monkey mom, the best monkey mom." Seeing this scene, Baisidang and the others were utterly shocked. What's going on? This little dragon cub not only harbors no hostility towards Ancient Ape, but even calls her monkey mom. At that moment, Ancient Ape was also baffled. "When did I become a mom? How come I didn't know about this?" She then asked little red Godzilla, "Do you know me?" "Of course I know you. You're my monkey mom." Then, Ancient Ape pointed at the others and asked, "Do you know them too?" "Of course I know them too. One is the stupid wolf with swords, the other is the hairless ugly bird, and the last one is the old witch pretending to be a shaman." Hearing this, Baisidang and the others were instantly enraged. "You little dragon cub, who are you calling an old witch? Believe it or not, I'll extinguish you right now." Then, Ancient Ape asked, "Since you know them, why did you fight them?" Hearing this, little red Godzilla jumped down from Ancient Ape and explained, "Because I find them really annoying. One is a stoic weirdo obsessed with swords and guns, another is a haughty freak, and one who only speaks in riddles, always making you guess what they're thinking. They're all bad news. Only you, monkey mom, are kind-hearted, loving, and speak nicely." Hearing this, Deathlark suddenly spewed out in anger, "Little dragon cub, I'll definitely obliterate you." At that point, Baisidang analyzed, "He is a manifestation of Linshin's dark side. Is this how Linshin normally sees us?" Hearing this, Deathlark glared at me, "Then I'll obliterate this ugly dragon first." The energy from the red crystal can greatly amplify one's dark side. Even though it has exaggerated Linshin's view of us, it shows that he really sees us this way. Maybe he feels we aren't as easy to get along with as Ancient Ape, so he has been tolerating us all this time, maintaining team harmony by enduring such hardships. Then he might as well choose to disband. At that moment, Wolverine asked, "What do we do with this little dragon now? Do we still need to destroy him?" "No need. This little dragon just seems like a mischievous, willful child. Plus, he seems to really listen to Ancient Ape. We might try getting along with him." Hearing this, little red Godzilla huffed and puffed his way over to me. "Great, Godzilla's wounds have healed. It seems our method just now was correct." Just then, I opened my eyes and sat up groggily. But when I saw little red Godzilla in front of me, I was completely baffled. Why is there a mirror here? Why have I been reset to factory settings? And why has the color changed to red this time? Could it be because of the lava form? But why haven't my claws changed? And I don't feel like I've shrunk. Seeing this, Ancient Ape and the others were worried, not understanding whether I was broken by the spinning shadow monster or if I had split half my brain with the little dragon. While they were puzzled, I suddenly laughed. "I get it now. This must be one of those funhouse mirrors that makes the reflected me look smaller. But why has the color changed too?" However, when I touched little red Godzilla's head, I was startled. Goodness, there really is a little red dragon here. Just then, little red Godzilla pushed my hand away. "Silly dragon dad. Are you being silly again? A talking little red dragon. What did you just call me? Dragon dad?" At this, Deathlark stepped forward and teased, "Ugly dragon. How come you don't even recognize your precious and well-behaved son?" "What did you say? He's my son." "Yes, and he even calls Ancient Ape monkey mom." Hearing this, my eyes nearly popped out of my head, and I sat down in a panic. I didn't do anything with Ancient Ape, and I was just unconscious from fighting with the spinning shadow monster. How come I have a son now? What's going on? Now, looking at my son who, except for the color, looked just like me, I was utterly confused. "Kid, what's the deal with you? Tell me, from where did you pop out?" "Of course, you're the one who gave birth to me, so of course I came from you. How could a big man like me give birth to a child? You really think I'm stupid? Silly dragon dad. Didn't you spit us out with your mouth many times before? We even helped you fight together." Hearing this, this, I suddenly realized something. You mean spit out? Could it be that you are the ghostly little red Godzilla from Dragon's 9 Sons? At this moment, little red Godzilla snapped his fingers, and instantly 8 brothers, looking just like him, appeared behind him, looking identical. The ghostly little dragons. I am indeed the eldest of the Dragon's 9 Sons. Seeing this, I was shocked. You can actually summon them directly. What's so hard about that? Just a flick of my fingers and it's all set. It's that simple. Then why do I almost throw up every time I use this ability? Must be some dog system messing with me. Hearing this, little red Godzilla seriously said, speaking of which, silly dragon dad, can't you find another way to summon us? Every time spitting us out from your mouth. It's disgusting. Hey, you're complaining about me now. Believe it or not, I'll swallow you back right now. Do you think I want to wander around outside? I'd like to go back, but I've tried already, and I just can't return. I was sleeping soundly, then suddenly this red energy entered my body, and next thing I knew, I woke up here, and these 3 ugly faces started hitting people right away. Hearing this, Deathlark and the others immediately became unsettled. Who are you calling ugly? With that stinky mouth of yours, who else should I hit? Hearing this, I became interested. It seems you've already had a fight. How is the strength of my dark avatar? Who won? It's just a little fart dragon. I'm too dignified to lift a finger. Hearing this, little red Godzilla immediately got upset. Ugly bald bird. Who was it that got beaten into a pile of feathers? Little fart dragon, if you keep running your mouth, I won't mind educating you on behalf of your parents. Seeing their drawn swords and bows, Ancient Ape quickly stepped forward to mediate. Alright, little dragon, stop it now. Deathlark and they are all our own people. Hearing this, little red Godzilla immediately ran smiling to Ancient Ape. It's good that Monkey Mom is here, otherwise little dragon would be so depressed. Hearing little red Godzilla actually calling Ancient Ape Monkey Mom, I felt my head swell. Can someone please tell me what the hell is going on? Then, Bai Sidong explained, you were severely injured in the battle with the spinning shadow monster. To save you, we had to place you by the red crystal, hoping to use its energy to heal you, but your inner greed was also magnified, eventually causing black mist to surge from your body, forming this little dragon. I understand now. Actually, this little dragon is my dark avatar, but this style doesn't feel right. Why is my dark avatar so cute and silly, while yours is so ugly and fierce? Hearing this, Bai Sidong explained, on the surface, people's greed varies, so their dark avatars are different, while internally cursing my narcissism. Unaware, I continued smugly, it seems I really am kind-hearted. I didn't expect even the dark avatar formed by my greed to be so cute. Hearing this, Bai Sidong, though she wanted to annihilate this narcissist on the spot, still suppressed her anger and asked, I'm very curious, what exactly is your greed? My greed? It's probably because I was often bullied as a child, so I wished I could become a monster to make all the bullies afraid of me. This is why he turned into this little pea dragon. Hearing this, the young Kuei dragon roared at Deathlark, ugly bald bird, don't call me little pea dragon. I am a true man among the Kuei dragons, so you should address me as Boss Kuei. Upon hearing this, I said seriously, you little brat, how can you call yourself Boss Kuei? I'm your dad. How can you say that? Lord, in the rivers and lakes, seniority doesn't matter. A name is just a code, and you get used to it after calling it a while. The young Kuei dragon retorted, this name must be changed. No way. From now on, we'll call you Little Red. Little Red, can you please think of something nicer? Even the names of random cats and dogs sound better than this. The young Kuei dragon complained discontentedly. Watching the young Kuei dragon and I bicker, Ancient Ape expressed satisfaction. These two really do have similar tempers. Deathlark disdainfully glanced at the young Kuei dragon. Yeah, they both really deserve a beating. However, at that moment, Bai Sidong looked at the young Kuei dragon and felt mixed emotions. He hadn't realized that Lin Shen's heart was so pure. The dark avatar formed by his greed turned out to be a cute little dragon. How could my dark avatar be so ugly compared to him? Does someone really have such great greed? These 3 had been treated with red energy and could no longer induce their inner greed. I'm really curious what their greed really is. I guess Ancient Ape greed is probably as pure as Lin Shen's, but the greed of these 2 proud creatures must not be simple. Their monstrous dark avatars are definitely uglier than mine. Thinking this, Bai Sidong felt much relieved. Meanwhile, as I and the young Kuei dragon were unwilling to give over the name, little Kun suddenly appeared in front of me, looking utterly exhausted, as if his body had been hollowed out. Damn system, you finally show up. Explain to me what the heck is going on here. How did my skill turn into a smug-acting son? Hearing this, little Kun immediately felt aggrieved. Are you really blaming me? Who knows how so much strange energy suddenly surged into your body, and this energy even invaded the system. Hearing this, I was shocked. This red crystal energy can affect you too. Little Kun immediately transformed into a science doctor, analyzing the red crystal. After some research, it discovered that this red crystal had energy waves similar to its own. I felt this same energy wave previously in the King of the Dead Rotten Reptiles and Dark Base, only their internal energy waves were too weak. The King of the Dead Rotten Reptiles mutated due to absorbing this energy, and Dark Base was even formed from this energy, so they are both related to this red crystal. I then asked, puzzled, are you saying that the system inside me is also related to this red crystal? Could it be that my encounters with the King of the Dead Rotten Reptiles and Dark Base were due to the attraction of similar similar energies? Damn, this is the so-called fate from Legends. At this moment, little Kulin pointed at the little Kuei dragon and continued, don't be so skeptical. The origin of this little dragon is the best proof. Dragon Birth 9 Sons is a system skill because the red energy and the system share the same source. This little dragon was formed, but just then, the little Kuei dragon suddenly slapped at little Kulin. Get lost. Seeing this, little Kulin and I were both shocked. You can see little Kulin? The little Kuei dragon proudly poked at little Kulin, saying, it's so big, anyone who isn't blind could see it. But as he finished speaking, he heard Ancient Ape and the others whispering among themselves. Little dragon seems to have inherited one of Dragon Brother's habits. He also likes to talk to the air, truly like father like son. See, Ape's sister and the others can't see little Kulin. At this moment, little Kulin took out a device and began to scan. Little Kuei dragon spoke discontentedly. Are you looking for a beating? Didn't I tell you to stay away from me? And you dare shine that junk on your master? Little Kulin calmly responded, just doing a routine check. Soon after, little Kulin excitedly said, this little dragon is really something. He will become your strongest support in the future. Him, with all his boasting? Just don't slow me down, I said, unimpressed. Silly dragon dad, you didn't see it, but I just took on 3. Little Kuei dragon said proudly. Hearing this, little Kulin quickly pulled up the recent battle records. This little dragon can use all your skills. Although they are scaled down versions, their power is not to be underestimated. Moreover, he can control the other 8 little Kuei dragons more precisely. Remember the forced teleportation between Baze and the spinning shadow monster? Now you and the little dragon can teleport to each other. However, it can only be used once a day. If the little dragon is somewhere else, you can teleport instantly to his location. Hearing this, I immediately became excited. That means I have teleportation ability. Not only can it be used for surprise attacks during battles, but it can also be an instant escape method if the fight turns sour. In simple terms, the little dragon has moved beyond the Dragon Birth 9 Sons category. Little Kulin continued, imagine a little dragon that can use all your skills suddenly appearing. It will give the enemies a big surprise. Truly worthy of being my son. Haha, not only does it enhance my strength, but it also provides me with a means to save my life, I said jubilantly. That goes without saying. There's much more to my awesomeness, little Kuei dragon boasted. Just then, little Kulin suddenly changed its form and said, additionally, I have another piece of good news to announce. After absorbing the energy of the red crystal, my abilities have also been enhanced. Hearing this, I couldn't contain my excitement. Tell me, what benefits do I get from your upgrade? Now, not only do you gain more evolution points from devouring prey, but I can also procure items from other parallel universes, with more choices available. I thought it was something good, but if you just give more evolution points and raise the prices in the shop accordingly, it's no real change. Stupid system. Don't I know you? You don't offer real benefits? Don't worry, just bring me the Ancient Ape's Xianglu Dragon Fist, and I'll add a third ability to it right now. Hearing this, I immediately showed a smug smile, turned to Ancient Ape, and said, Ape's sister, let me use the Dragon Fist for a moment. Hearing this, Ancient Ape looked baffled. Huh? Dragon bro, what do you need the Dragon Fist for? Ancient Ape asked, puzzled. I laughed and said, I've absorbed quite a bit of red crystal energy, and now I'll upgrade it. Hearing this, Ancient Ape and Deathlark looked incredulous, and this time, the third ability that little Kulin added to the Xianglu's Dragon Fist was the explosive skill from the Reptile King's son, Poison Explosion. After the upgrade, I handed the Xianglu's Dragon Fist to Ancient Ape and explained, I call the upgraded skill Dragon Blast. It can release an explosive wave to blow the enemy away the moment it bites. After hearing about the skill, Ancient Ape danced with excitement while Deathlark turned away, clearly displeased, exclaiming, favoritism, ugly dragon. I posed, inviting Ancient Ape to attack me to test the power. To ease Ancient Ape's concerns, I even took out a life fruit for her reassurance. Seeing this, Ancient Ape relaxed. Ancient Ape used the Dragon Bite skill and pounced towards me. Accompanied by a crack sound, the Xianglu's Dragon Fist first bit onto my arm, followed by a boom as the Dragon Blast skill activated instantly, sending my massive body flying. At this moment, my nose running and regretting deeply, exclaimed, I played it up too much. Accompanied by a bang, my massive body was instantly blown away, slamming into a wall, nearly having a catastrophic failure. Seeing this, Ancient Ape looked unworriedly. Dragon bro, are you alright? While swallowing the life fruit, I stubbornly said, I'm fine. This move is really powerful. It can send away weaker enemies in one shot. If facing a stronger enemy, the Dragon Domination skill can deal a heavy hit and then finish them off with Dragon Blast. This combo is just too cool. However, as Ancient Ape was admiring the Xianglu's Dragon Fist, Deathlark, touching her bald head, suddenly said, do you guys feel dizzy too? Hearing this, Wolverine chimed in, when we first entered the palace, I could feel energy tens of times more intense than outside rushing into my body, and I'm starting to feel like I can't handle it anymore. At this point, Bai Sidong explained, this is because our bodies have reached the limit of energy they can absorb. If we take in more, we might risk bursting. It seems we have to leave here for now. Let our bodies digest this energy, and then we can come back. You should come out with us too, I said to invite my son. Unexpectedly, little Kuei Dragon looked disdainfully at everyone. Is that all you can handle? Hearing this, I was annoyed and punched little Kuei Dragon on the head. You're made of red energy. energy. Of course, you can't feel it. Before long, the others and I left the Red Palace, and Polar Bear along with the Ice Wolf leader, seeing this, hurriedly brought the monsters of Abyss Island to greet them, shouting loudly, "Greetings to the 5 kings." At this moment, little Kuei Dragon walked with the stride of a king returning home, arms crossed, head held high, leading the way, waving and greeting the monsters. "Hello everyone." Polar Bear and the others curiously sized up little Kuei Dragon. 5 went in. "How come there's an extra one now? And why does this little guy look so much like King Linshin?" Hearing this, I quickly introduced, "Let me introduce everyone. This is my son, Lord Kuei." Hearing this, Polar Bear and Ice Wolf were shocked. "It hasn't been long since you went in. How do you already have a son? With whom? But why does King Linshin have to call him Lord?" I coughed twice to ease the awkwardness. "It's a long story, but all you need to know is that he's my son and a new member of the Abyss Island monsters." Hearing this, the monsters of Abyss Island shouted in unison, "Greetings, Lord Kuei." Little Kuei Dragon, enjoying the attention, laughed, "Ha, hello, everyone. From now on, you're all under my protection." At this point, Baze asked Polar Bear, while we were inside the Red Palace, "Did any secret realm monsters break through?" Polar Bear pointed towards a nearby area and said, "Quite a few secret realm monsters broke through, but we managed to defeat them. Luckily, there were no 100-meter class monsters, or we might not have been able to hold this place." Seeing so many monsters attracted by the energy of the red crystal, Baze hurriedly instructed Wolverine and Ancient Ape to close the doors of the Red Palace. Keeping it open like this, the energy leaking from the red crystal will more easily attract more secret realm monsters. Baze continued, "Linshin, this place still needs a guardian, someone who can guard it 24/7 to prevent secret realm monsters from breaking in, so we don't face monsters like Dark Baze or the King of the Dead Rotten Reptiles again." Hearing this, Polar Bear volunteered eagerly to stay, but Baze directly refused. "Polar Bear, thanks for your willingness, but you're a creature of ice and snow, not suited for long-term survival here. And, with your current strength, you're not yet able to confront 100-meter monsters from the secret realm." At that moment, I put forth my idea. Actually, I plan to make this place the headquarters for the monsters of Abyss Island. Ape sister, Bird sister, Wolf brother, and I will stay within the Red Square, while the other Abyss Island monsters will live centered around the Red Valley. The 4 of us are no longer negatively affected by the red crystal energy, so we can enter the palace daily to train, which will rapidly increase our strength. And the energy in the Red Valley is richer, which will also swiftly boost the strength of the Abyss Island monsters living here. Only by enhancing the overall strength of Abyss Island can we withstand potential invaders. However, Baze offered a different opinion. "I appreciate your idea, but given the potential for powerful invaders, the 4 of you can't always be here, and I'm not sure if the Abyss Island monsters will be affected by the red crystal energy. So, we must find a powerful, permanent guardian for this place." Hearing this, I immediately thought of a suitable candidate. Then I mischievously looked towards little Kuei Dragon. "Isn't there a perfect candidate right here? He's my son, Lord Kuei." Caught off guard by the sudden nomination, little Kuei Dragon was stunned. Hearing this, Baze and the others all looked at little Kuei Dragon. "Why choose the little dragon as the guardian?" At this moment, I explained, "Because Baze killed the previous guardian and then created Dark Baze to guard this place. I killed Dark Baze and created Little Dragon, so he should also guard here." Hearing this, Baze said puzzledly, "Dark Baze was trapped here by my secret method. It was not her choice. But the little dragon, do you really have the heart to confine him here? There's nothing to feel bad about. The little dragon and Dark Baze are not the same. Dark Baze was fierce and brutal, while Little Dragon is cute and silly. What was a prison for Dark Baze is a home for Little Dragon in his eyes." Hearing my words, Baze was speechless. Here he goes being Versailles again. Then, I turned to little Kuei Dragon and said, "Now that the Red Valley is our headquarters, it is also our home, right Lord Kuei?" "Lord Dad, the rich energy here is greatly beneficial for enhancing my strength. Even if you told me to leave, I wouldn't," little Kuei Dragon confidently said. "That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Truly my good son. Don't worry, the beasts of Abyss Island are all living around here. You won't get bored. With these blockheads, I'd be surprised if I wasn't bored," little Kuei Dragon muttered, then snapped his fingers. In an instant, 8 ghostly little Kuei Dragons floated out from his body. "I've got my own 8 brothers. I don't need them." Seeing this, I was startled. "Hey, why did you summon them all? Be careful, they might explode." But before he could finish, 2 of the ghostly little dragons collided with a bang. Godzilla yelled, "Oh no," and instinctively covered himself. However, the next second, the 2 little dragons bounced off each other, and no explosion occurred. I was utterly shocked with my jaw dropped. It didn't explode? What's going on? Could this be what little Quinn said? That little dragon can control them more finely so they don't explode? Now that the guardian matter is settled, I should head back. You need to arrange the territories of the beasts of Abyss Island properly. I suggest letting Bird Sister's subordinates guard the entrance to the secret realm. Then, she said to Deathlark, "Bird Sister, please have your subordinates take me and Polar Bear back. I've been captured by Dark Baze for so long. I don't know what's become of the followers at Sage Snow Mountain. Don't worry, I sent life fruits to them through my subordinates after I discovered Polar Bear was injured. They should be fine now. Are you sure you don't want to stay a few more days? The energy here is abundant, and it could quickly boost your strength. I'm worried about Sage Snow Mountain." mountain, and Dark Base has absorbed too much crystal energy over the years. Now that she's back in my body, it will take a long time for me to fully absorb this energy. Hearing this, I joked, then you've really picked up a power bank, and a super capacity one at that. Then, I looked at little Koei Dragon with a mischievous grin. If this kid absorbs enough energy and then I consume him, wouldn't I be able to boost my strength rapidly? No, a tiger does not eat its cubs. How could I have such a terrifying thought? I internally struggled, unaware that my unusual behavior was all being observed by little Koei Dragon. Seeing that ill-intentioned look on your face, are you thinking about swallowing me after I've absorbed enough red energy? Little Koei Dragon accused. How could I? I love you too much to even think about it. I hurriedly defended. You could try following through on your thoughts just now. I'll make sure you regret it deeply. Little Koei Dragon snorted coldly. While the father and son were talking, Baze had already transformed back into Bai Sidong, and after saying goodbye to everyone, Deathlark's subordinates carried her and Polar Bear towards the secret realm's entrance. The matters of the secret realm are finally coming to a close. I wonder if there's any news from Zhou about the Nether Sin Palace. Wolf brother, take out the satellite phone. It hasn't rung since it came into your hands. That kid Zhou isn't playing us for fools, is he? After Wolverine took out the satellite phone, there were no messages displayed on the phone. Strange, how could there be no news from the Nether Sin Palace for so long? Zhou would surely notify us immediately. Could it be that we can't receive signals because we are inside the secret realm? Puzzled, I then walked towards the crowd of monsters. Folks, from now on, this is our new home. Here, we will reproduce, grow stronger continuously. Our next task is to become stronger so that humans would not dare to step foot here lightly. In the future, Abyss Island will become the island of the strongest beasts. Hearing this, the monsters of Abyss Island cheered enthusiastically. Seeing this, I continued. Now let's clean up the battlefield, first by moving all the debris from the square, then moving the dead secret realm monsters from the woods to the square, and the dead beasts of Abyss Island will be buried together. At that moment, Ancient Ape pointed to the dead secret realm monsters. Dragon brother, are we not going to eat all these secret realm monsters? Everyone must be starving after the battle. Of course we should eat. We fought a splendid battle and even gained a new home, I said with a laugh. Now I want to properly treat everyone. After saying this, I looked towards the Abyss Island monsters who were moving things and ordered them to pile the secret realm monsters around me. Then, I exchanged some spices from the system and said to Ancient Ape sister, you're in charge of seasoning later with these spices. We've been grilling so many skewers together. Let's keep it going today. You should have learned how to season by now, I said with a laugh. At this time, Deathlark and the others looked at me with puzzled faces. What is he up to now? He's not starting to act foolish again, is he? However, at that moment, my skin began to glow red, and the next second I activated my lava form, Brothers of Abyss Island. To celebrate our victory, I invite you all to enjoy skewers. Seeing this, the beasts of Abyss Island were startled. Is this King Lenshin's new ability? It's incredibly powerful. Stay back, my fur is about to catch fire. At that moment, thinking quickly, I came up with a method to grill skewers on a large scale. Due to my high temperature, the nearest secret realm monster instantly caught fire. I frantically threw the burning monster to the outskirts. Ah, if it burns, it won't taste good. Looks like I'll need to adjust the distance next time. It would be great if I could freely adjust the intensity of the flames inside me, and even better with a heat-resistant giant grill. However, I noticed that Ancient Ape and the others were still stunned in place, so I shouted, what are you waiting for? Come over and sprinkle the spices. Wolverine grumbled discontentedly, you're using such a powerful martial technique for grilling? This is a desecration of martial skills. Why not? I call this integrating knowledge, learning by analogy, incorporating martial skills into every detail of daily life. Details determine success or failure. You should try it too. Hearing this, Wolverine immediately refused. Even if I die, I would not use martial skills this way. However, a while later, I was still busy directing. Bird sister, not enough heat here. Add more wind. Reluctantly, Deathlark flapped her wings, becoming the master of controlling the heat, fanning the flames. Ape sister, this side is done. Flip it over, add the spices. Ancient Ape skillfully used the dragon bite skill, flipping the skewers and sprinkling cumin, truly becoming a qualified barbecue chef. Then, I casually threw a large dragon leg. This one's done. Wolf brother, slice it up and serve. Wolverine executed a gold slash, instantly slicing the dragon's leg into numerous pieces. Then, serve the meat. This is the best meat I've ever eaten. The great kings themselves cooking skewers for us. I'm so touched. Eat less. You've already had over a dozen pieces. Little Koei Dragon also enjoy the skewers. It's amazing how the kings can practice their skills while barbecuing, killing two birds with one stone. Look, Lord Wolverine's knife skills seem to have improved a lot. Both of you idiots, shut up. Can't you stop talking even when eating? And so, after a while, the bones of the secret realm monsters piled up into a small hill. The beasts of Abyss Island were full and lazily lying on the ground while I was exhausted. Using the lava form as a grill is good, but the power is too high. It's too energy consuming. Ancient Ape tossed me a piece of meat. Dragon brother, you eat too. I took the barbecue. Although it's a bit rushed, the flavor is quite good. If we have another celebration, let's do it this way again. Hearing this, this, Deathlark and Wolverine immediately broke down. Damn you, my wind spells aren't meant for this. I use my sword to kill, not to cut meat, Wolverine exclaimed angrily. Meanwhile, outside the secret realm, two Tapejara were patrolling above Abyss Island when they suddenly noticed something. They spotted a human warship moored at the perimeter of the island. Thus, the two Tapejara quietly flew near the warship. However, just as they discovered humans again setting foot on the island and were about to go back to report, several whoosh sounds came from the forest. Soon after, an invisible figure appeared beside one Tapejara. Stupid beasts, are you ready to meet your death? The person said, and swung a green cross slash at the Tapejara. The Tapejara hadn't realized what was happening when a wound appeared on its neck. Bleeding then turned green. By the time the other Tapejara noticed something was wrong, the first Tapejara had already crashed to the ground with a boom. When the second Tapejara looked down, it saw a human with a knife standing next to the body of the first Tapejara, looking mockingly at it. What are you looking at, idiot? Better worry about yourself. As the person spoke, a strange growl came from below, followed quickly by a soul entity rushing towards the second Tapejara. The Tapejara had no chance to react before the soul entity entered its body. After a violent struggle, the second Tapejara quieted down. It's my first time possessing such a large beast. It really feels different. Not only is the perspective higher, but I also feel full of power, Wrath said proudly. This giant beast, and you managed to possess it so quickly. Impressive, boss, Whitehair exclaimed. To avoid attracting the attention of other beasts on the island, Wrath dragged the body of the pterosaur towards the ocean to dispose of the evidence. Meanwhile, Whitehair headed towards the bushes. After Wrath had thrown the pterosaur into the sea and returned to Abyss Island, Whitehair dragged out a human covered in metal. Boss, this body is really heavy, Whitehair complained. As soon as he finished speaking, Wrath, controlling the pterosaur, bit his own human body and then swallowed it whole. He ordered Whitehair to go to the speedboat to meet up with the people on the warship, waiting for his next instructions, while he himself piloted the pterosaur into the interior of Abyss Island. A bunch of giant beasts. I'll show you what happens when you oppose the Nether Sin Palace, Wrath sneered secretly. Meanwhile, in the secret realm, the others and I were all full and lazily lying on the ground. Just then a Tapejara hurriedly flew over. There are humans at the secret realm entrance asking to meet us. The same two who brought Polar Bear over, reported the Tapejara. Hearing this, I immediately guessed it was Shoji and Mugen, so I picked up a piece of cooked meat, took a bite, and said, no one visits a temple without a cause. Let's go see what they want this time. Meanwhile, at the secret realm entrance where Shoji was visibly angry, these idiots, I gave them a phone and they just disappeared. The phone has always been unreachable. Don't they know to check in periodically? Mugen kindly suggested. Maybe the secret realm is blocking the signals. Just then, I and the others came over, all smiles. Old friends, missing me after just a few days? Shoji angrily pointed at me. Miss your big head. Where's the satellite phone I gave you? Why has there been no signal? Forcing me and Mugen to make another trip. Really? I thought you hadn't called at all. Could it be that the phone you gave us was broken? I feigned innocence. I'm not that bored to give you a broken phone. Didn't you know that the dense energy of the secret realm blocks all telecommunications? So it was blocked. No wonder the signal was bad. We've been staying inside the secret realm, and indeed, the energy there is very dense. Hearing this, Shoji grew even angrier. Then don't you know to check outside periodically? You claim to be high intelligence monsters, but you don't even know this basic fact. I sniffed the roast in my hand, nonchalantly explaining, can't help it. We monsters are also very busy. These past days, if we weren't fighting, we were on the way to a fight. Seeing this, Shoji broke down completely. You're blatantly lying. How have you been busy? It looks more like you've been happily grilling skewers. Hearing this, I helplessly placed the roast meat on the ground, explaining, we took down the guardian of the secret realm, so we had a celebration. What's wrong with that? Shoji was shocked. You entered the secret realm and defeated its guardian in just a few days? But as far as I know, every secret realm has a powerful guardian. The last time, a country fought with a guardian of a secret realm, and 3 SS-level powerhouses died. Paper tigers. That's what the pretty country is. We barely survived fighting the secret realm's giant beasts and secured our victory. I'm inviting you into the secret realm. You can only pass through the purple barrier after eating the meat of a secret realm beast. Hearing this, Shoji and Mugen simultaneously looked at me, puzzled. Inviting us into the secret realm? You trust us that much? You've helped me so much. Of course, you are brothers to me now, as we are all people of Cafe. I responded with a smile. Hearing this, Shoji swiftly sliced off a piece of meat with his flying sword. From now on, you, Lin Shen, are also a brother to me. He then tore off a piece of the meat and savored it. Meanwhile, at the cave entrance, taking advantage of the patrolling Tapejara's shift change, the Tapejara possessed by Wrath followed the others into the cave. As soon as it landed, it spotted Shoji and Mugen of the Cafe's Heaven Force, cursing internally. Damn it, the Heaven Force of Cafe really is colluding with these beasts. These must be the beasts that defeated Lester and Envy, the Abyss Island giants. So much for their strength. Then, it noticed several Tapejaras entering a purple barrier. Pondering, it seems this purple barrier is the entrance to the secret realm. Testing his theory, Wrath used the Tapejara's body to successfully pass passed through the purple barrier into the secret realm. As Zhou ate the meat, he said, "The reason we rushed here was to inform you that the Nether Sin Palace has already dispatched a vanguard force, and their warships are in the waters of Abyss Island. But there might be a jamming device because the radar can't lock onto their position." Hearing this, we were shocked. The Nether Sin Palace's people are already in the waters of Abyss Island. Since we can't lock onto their position, we must strengthen our defenses. Bird Sister, deploy more Tapajaras to expand the surveillance area and frequency, especially near the coast of Abyss Island. Then, Zhou continued, "I've also obtained some top-secret information about the Nether Sin Palace's master, Wrath. He is a rare dual elemental power user, though we can only confirm one of his abilities is in the soul category. He specializes in invading other creatures' bodies and forcibly possessing them, so be careful of all creatures outside the secret realm to prevent Wrath from possessing them and infiltrating your ranks." Hearing this, I asked Zhou, when a soul-type power user possesses a non-fire-type creature, can they still use other powers? Shouldn't be possible. That's a relief. Among the Abyss Island giants, only a few herbivores haven't entered the secret realm, and they aren't strong. The secret realm is fraught with dangers, so even if Wrath manages to possess a giant and enter, surviving there alone will be tough. None of you two has been possessed by Wrath, right? I joked with a smile. You think too much. S-rank human psychics aren't that easy to possess. Zhou responded coolly. Hearing this, I awkwardly laughed. Just joking with you. Come on, I'll show you around the secret realm. Unbeknownst to them, Wrath had already successfully entered the secret realm. As he looked around at the vast red world, he was filled with awe. Just then, several Tapajara approached him. The king has ordered that all Tapajaras go out on patrol to enhance security. Ignoring them, Wrath flew deeper into the secret realm, thinking, these giants seem to have sensed something. I need to hasten my plans. To avoid attracting the attention, Wrath flew for a long time, bypassing all the territories of the secret realm giants, and eventually chose a spot far from the secret realm entrance. Suddenly, his pterosaur's neck made gurgling noises, and Wrath expelled his own body from inside the pterosaur. Then, Wrath's soul left the Tapajara's body, which immediately lost all life and collapsed. As his soul returned to his body, Wrath slowly controlled his body to sit up. The metal on his body began to fall off piece by piece. Controlling such a large beast was only possible because I merged with Envy's super metal, which allowed me to endure. It's exhausting and thankfully wasn't corroded by the Tapajara's stomach acid. As the metal completely fell off, Wrath felt the rich energy of the secret realm. This is truly a prime location. From now on, this will be the new headquarters of the Nether Sin Palace, Wrath said as he unloaded his backpack to begin his plan. A few days ago, the Nether Sin Palace's second elder had found Abyss Island and successfully landed to scout. But curiously, all the beasts of Abyss Island were gone, leaving only a few herbivores. So I suspect that the giants who defeated Envy found the entrance to the secret realm and led the beasts of Abyss Island into it. The Grand Elder expressed skepticism. It's unlikely that these beasts could find a way into the secret realm so quickly. There's nothing impossible. The beasts that easily defeated Envy and could swallow nuclear bombs could easily find a way into the secret realm, Wrath scoffed. I will infiltrate Abyss Island, possess a giant beast, and have the beast swallow my body. Envy's super metal ability will protect my body from being corroded by the giant's stomach acid. Once inside the secret realm, I will set up a makeshift teleportation device in a location far from the entrance. The makeshift teleportation device can only maintain operation for 3 minutes, and it can only transport one person at a time. With fast execution, it could transport up to 10 people, Wrath explained. First, the fourth elder will lead 9 technicians carrying dismantled parts of the large teleportation device into the secret realm. Once the large device is set up, the Grand Elder can lead everyone in. Just as Wrath installed and activated the simple teleportation device, a signal was sent to the warship far away from Abyss Island. The 4 elders and the technicians, who had been waiting, quickly entered the teleportation gate. When the 4th elder stepped into the secret realm and saw the scene before him, he was stunned. It's incredible. How can this secret realm be so vast? The energy here is much denser than any of the secret realms we've explored before, he exclaimed in amazement. Then, the 4th elder instructed the newly arrived team, let's move quickly and try to assemble the large teleportation device within half an hour. He then used his gravity-altering ability to lighten the area's gravitational pull, helping the technicians speed up the assembly of the device. Meanwhile, I, with Zhou and Mu Zhen, also entered the secret realm. Both guests were equally astonished by the size of the realm, and the energy here is so dense. Indeed, if we could live here for a year or so, wouldn't our strength skyrocket? Mu Zhen chimed in. Ha, you're impressed by this level of density? Wait till I show you something really spectacular. However, just then, a Tapajara reported, Lord, a Tapajara behaved strangely just now. It ignored commands and flew towards the Red Valley and wouldn't respond to calls. Hearing this, Mu Zhen said immediately, could it have been possessed by Wrath? Alerted, I ordered, send all the Tapajara in the secret realm to find that one. I hope we're just overthinking this. Deathlark agreed. Just after I finished my sentence, several spiny jackals came running in a panic. What's the matter? In such a hurry? One of the wolves quickly explained, Lord, young master Lord Kuei asked you to come quickly. He sensed a small batch of energy that doesn't belong to the secret realm. Hearing this, I was shocked. Energy that doesn't belong to the secret realm? Could it be that the Nether Sin Palace has already breached our defenses? Hearing this, Ancient Ape and Wolverine is shocked. With the help of Deathlark and the Tapajaras, we quickly flew towards the Red Palace. Soon after, they landed in front of the grand entrance of the Red Palace, where the beasts of Abyss Island were already lined up, waiting for their arrival. Seeing the majestic and grand palace, Zhou and Mu Zhen were astounded. Zhou said, as far as I know, every secret realm has a grand palace where the Guardian resides. It looks like this place has now become your headquarters. Hearing this, I curiously asked, every secret realm has a palace, so does every palace have a crystal? Each palace contains a huge crystal, indeed the source of the secret realm's energy, but not all are red, and the intensity of the energy is not as high as it is here. Hearing this, I looked at the beasts of Abyss Island and proudly said, it seems the secret realm of Abyss Island is the most special, probably because Abyss Island itself has powerful giants. Mu Zhen gave me a thumbs up. With such dense energy, the Guardian here must be terrifyingly strong. You guys managed to defeat the Guardian in such a short time. That's impressive, Mu Zhen exclaimed. However, just as he finished speaking, the grand doors of the palace slowly opened, and a much denser and more terrifying energy surged out from inside. Zhou and Mu Zhen were immediately alarmed. This energy is the Guardian's. You said you had killed the Guardian? Sorry to scare you both. Let me introduce you. This is my son, Kuei Lord. Hearing this, Kuei Lord immediately said, silly dragon dad, why did you only come back now? Seeing this, Zhou and Mu Zhen were both shocked. This is your son? Mu Zhen, confused, asked, why do you call him Lord? It's just a code name, I awkwardly explained. Then, Zhou suddenly thought of something and asked, since you have a son this powerful, is there also a mother Kuei dragon? But why do I feel such a powerful secret realm energy from him? Only secret realm guardians have such pure energy. Hearing this, I was dumbfounded. You actually thought of a mother Kuei dragon? I prefer genuine beauties. That's a long story. We'll have time to chat about it later. Then, I smilingly looked at Lord Kuei and said, son, here are your Uncle Zhou and Grandpa Mu. Come over and say hello. At this moment, Mu Zhen approached little Kuei, looking at him affectionately. What a cute little dragon cub. Grandpa didn't prepare any welcome gift, Mu Zhen was saying, but Lord Kuei interrupted disdainfully. Who needs it? What good thing can a weak human possibly bring? However, just as he finished speaking, Mu Zhen suddenly pulled several giant lollipops out of his pocket. Seeing this, little Kuei eyes instantly sparkled with little stars, and his previously haughty demeanor vanished. Grandpa Mu is the best. Grandpa Mu is great. Godzilla, watching this scene, couldn't help but laugh. Didn't expect you'd be bribed by just a few lollipops. At this moment, Zhou curiously asked, Mu Zhen, why do you carry such big lollipops with you? Mu Zhen smiled and replied, it's for spoiling my grandson. Do you really need such big lollipops for spoiling your grandson? Zhou couldn't help but ask. A baby over 300 months old definitely needs them that big. Mu Zhen replied matter-of-factly. Hearing this explanation, Zhou was momentarily speechless. Then, I stepped forward and asked, son, stop focusing on eating for a moment. Didn't you have something to tell us? Oh, right. Lord Kuei suddenly remembered something. Half an hour ago, I suddenly sensed several alien energies that do not belong to the secret realm appearing here. The alien energy you sensed, it wouldn't be your Uncle Zhou and Grandpa Mu, right? It's not them. Their bodies already possess energy belonging to this place. The energies I sensed are completely alien to here, Lord Kuei earnestly said. Hearing this, I fell into thought. Lord Kuei, being the guardian of the red crystal, indeed can sense foreign energies, so he must be right. But how did these alien energies get through the barrier and into the secret realm? Actually, entering through the barrier is simple, Zhou explained. As long as Furious possesses that Tapejara, he can easily enter the secret realm. But that would just be Wrath alone, and my son just mentioned several people. I frowned, then turned to Lord Kuei and asked, can you specifically pinpoint these people's locations? Because there are few of them and their energy is weak. I can't precisely locate them. Upon learning this, I quickly instructed Wolverine and Deathlark, Bird Sister, Brother Wolf, dispatch all your subordinates and clan members to search for that Tapejara, and remember to stay hidden to avoid being attacked by outsiders or the giants of the secret realm. Meanwhile, at Wrath's location, a huge teleportation device is almost fully assembled. In less than half an hour, the teleportation array will be fully assembled. This secret realm will soon be ours, the Nether Sin Palaces, Wrath said triumphantly while laughing. At that moment, a technician came forward to report to the Lord. Machine Unit 1 has begun to charge up. Units 2 and 3 have also been assembled and are charging. With Machine Unit 10 entering the charging phase, the entire teleportation array is now fully assembled. However, just as Wrath was full of excitement, preparing to reward these Nether Sin Palace contributors, a loud roar from a giant beast suddenly echoed in the distance, followed by violent tremors shaking the ground beneath their feet. How much longer for the energy to charge? 5 minutes, a technician shouted in panic. Upon learning that the charging process still needed 5 more minutes to complete, Wrath checked the time and said to the fourth elder, want to have a little contest? contest? See who can kill more giant beasts in the next 5 minutes. The fourth elder smiled and replied, since the Lord is in such a good mood, let's see who wins. A large number of secret realm beasts charged out of the forest, roaring as they launched their attack on Wrath and his team. Wrath, seeing this, mistakenly believed that these beasts were the giants from Abyss Island hiding in the secret realm. He sneered, since you refuse to hide and cower in the secret realm, I'll grant you your wish. With that, he used the ultrametal ability he had obtained from Envy, transforming it into a weapon to face the incoming enemies. Then Sloth ordered his men to protect the teleportation array. Suddenly, a Triceratops lunged at Sloth with its jaws wide open. Without panic, Sloth used his gravity nullified ability, causing the charging Triceratops to lose all gravity, floating helplessly in the air. However, at that moment, two ancient giant lizards charged at him, roaring. Sloth smiled faintly and then used the gravity amplification ability. With a loud crash, the massive body of the Triceratops slammed into the two giant lizards, and within moments, all three secret realm beasts were easily dealt with. Meanwhile, on Wrath's side, a Stegosaurus charged at him with great force. Wrath leaped into the air, effortlessly dodging the attack, then gripped his weapon tightly, the blade glowing with a strange pink light, and slashed down at the Stegosaurus. With a sharp swish, Wrath decapitated the Stegosaurus with a single blow. He sneered, who would have thought Envy's ultrametal would be this useful? Don't hold back, finish off these beasts quickly. Under the boost of the gravity abilities, the secret realm beasts had no chance to even get close to Sloth, all being easily defeated. Meanwhile, Wrath charged into the herd, cutting the beasts into pieces as if slicing vegetables. At the same time, back at the Red Palace, while eating a lollipop, Lord Kuei suddenly sensed something and hurriedly said, Silly Dragon Dad, I sense a large surge of secret realm energy rushing rapidly in one direction. Hearing this, Godzilla asked in confusion, the secret realm energy you're sensing, is it from the secret realm beasts? Is there another beast tied? The direction the secret realm beasts are rushing towards is exactly where those faint foreign energies are located. I couldn't lock onto them earlier, but now I'm certain the foreign energy is in the southeast. I immediately recalled my experience upon entering the secret realm. The secret realm beasts here are extremely hostile to outsiders. They must have sensed the foreign energy and are attacking intruders. This is perfect. We were just looking for them. You're really Daddy's good son. Let's go take care of those little rats. Ape sister, bird sister, brother wolf, send the Tapajara out first for aerial scouting. Once you spot the targets, we four will deal with the human psychics. The Abyss Island giants will surround the area. We can't let any of them escape. We must eliminate them all. At this point, Lord Kuei protested, what about me? Upon hearing this, I explained, the Red Palace is the source of the secret realm's energy, a critical strategic location. You and Little Tangerine lead some of the Abyss Island giants to guard it here. Hearing this, Lord Kuei immediately beamed with joy. Smart choice. Such an important place can only be properly guarded by me. Since you represent the Heaven Force Department of Cathay, I would prefer you not get involved in this battle. However, I hope you two can help me guard the entrance to the secret realm. However, Zhou Ji firmly stated, how could we not help when a brother is in trouble? We must fight together. Yes, how could we stand by when a brother is in trouble? Mu Jian agreed. You truly are the brothers I value. Bird sister, wolf brother, have some of your people guard the entrance to the secret realm. The enemy possesses soul possession abilities, so we must not let even a fly through. After finalizing the battle plan, we quickly headed towards the direction of the secret realm's energy influx. Meanwhile, at Wrath's location, the secret realm giants had already been completely defeated. Sloth boastfully said, didn't expect your strongest support to be so formidable even solo. Quite impressive. However, just as Wrath learned that the charging would still take 2 more minutes to complete, a giant beast emerged from the forest. A 100-meter tall Tyrannosaurus let out a deafening roar, followed by a large number of secret realm giants rushing out of the forest, furiously pouncing towards them. Sloth said resignedly, looks like it's back to work. This time it seems a boss-level guy has come. Seeing this, Wrath sheathed his super metal and chuckled, I've never tried controlling a 100-meter tall Tyrannosaurus before. This is going to be thrilling. He then jumped next to a base of the teleportation array and said to his subordinates, protect my body. I'm going to meet this Tyrannosaurus. After saying this, Wrath excitedly covered his body with super metal. Then his soul left his body and swiftly darted towards the Tyrannosaurus at the front. Before it could react, Wrath's soul had entered its body, completing the possession in an instant. Feeling the power of this formidable body, Wrath let out a thunderous roar to the sky. Then, controlling the Tyrannosaurus, he bit into another secret realm giant, flinging it far away. Seeing this, the rest of the secret realm giants began frantically fleeing. Controlling such a top predator is indeed more majestic and powerful. Wrath laughed, then charged into the herd, slashing through the giants as if he were cutting through grass. Just then, a 100-meter tall Triceratops speaking human language charged at Wrath. Are you mad? You can't tell friend from an enemy. Then with a boom, the Triceratops knocked the Tyrannosaurus out of the herd. Another boss-level giant has arrived. Wrath laughed, come on, let's see who's stronger. As he fought the Triceratops, the teleportation array's charging completed, and 10 bases activated simultaneously, forming a huge spiderweb above the array. This secret realm is now mine. Wrath laughed maniacally. Meanwhile, on the battleship outside Abyss Island, the teleportation array, which had been set up in advance, lit up. The first elder, Pride, arrogantly munching on an ice cream, grumbled, "Boss, this is too slow. We've been waiting far too long." Hearing this, the third elder, Lust, teased beside him, "A man can't stand being told he's inadequate. Be careful or the boss might twist your head off if he hears that." Just then, the burly fifth elder, Gluttony, came over and urged, "Stop dawdling. Hurry up. I'm still waiting to go into the secret realm to eat some giant beast meat." Seeing this, the second elder, Greed, ordered his subordinates, Pride, Lust, Gluttony, and I will go in first. The rest follow in the order we arranged earlier. They then led the way into the teleportation array. Meanwhile, seeing a blue light in the distance, I wondered what it was. Shoji, pale with shock, exclaimed, "That's a teleportation array. They've actually set up and activated a large-scale teleportation array here." Teleportation array? Have humans already mastered such powerful technology? There's even more powerful tech. Once the large teleportation array is activated, more human elites and equipment will be continuously transported here. Enemies will be entering here every minute. We need to hurry there, Shoji said anxiously. Realizing the gravity of the situation, I quickly ordered the giants of Abyss Island to hasten toward the direction of the teleportation array. At the same time, on Wrath's side, the Tyrannosaurus had torn a huge chunk of flesh from the neck of the Triceratops, which then fell thunderously to the ground, lifeless. The Tyrannosaurus stepped on its body and let out a heaven-shaking roar. Sloth, witnessing this, couldn't help but show a face full of exasperation. The boss is really getting carried away with this Tyrannosaurus cosplay. Just then, a rumbling noise suddenly came from the dense forest. Wrath sneered, Looks like plenty of giants are coming this way, but the teleportation array is already activated. My army will soon arrive on the battlefield. All your resistance is in vain." At that moment, we emerged from the forest and finally saw the teleportation array. See those 10 circular platforms surrounding the array? Those are the bases of the teleportation array. If we destroy just 3 of them, we can shut it down. Right then, I pointed to the Tyrannosaurus and asked, puzzled, "Why is that Tyrannosaurus attacking other giants in the secret realm?" Shoji quickly warned, "That must be Wrath possessing the Tyrannosaurus's body. Be careful not to let him possess any of you." I was unconvinced. "Didn't you say it's hard to possess an S-rank ability user? We all have S-rank power levels." Shoji shook his head. "You're different. You're giants, not humans." Hearing this, I responded displeasedly, "What do you mean by that? Are you saying giants have lower intelligence and are easier to possess? Well, I'll show you what big brains look like in a big body." Then, I turned to Ancient Ape, Deathlark, and Wolverine and said, "We'll split up. Ape sister, Bird sister, Wolf brother, you're in charge of destroying the bases. Each person target 1 circular platform." I roared, then charged forward, leading the charge as the battle was about to begin. Seeing me emerge from the forest, Wrath was excited. It seems this beast is extraordinarily powerful, perfect for a high-end showdown. However, just as Wrath was preparing to confront me, I suddenly stopped. Wrath thought proudly, it seems my aura has frightened him." But the next second, my body began to emit thunderous and luminous energy, gradually gathering a powerful force in my mouth. Seeing this, Wrath became alert. This is bad. He's about to use his ultimate move. At that moment, I fired my most powerful strike, Burst Breath. With a loud bang, the Tyrannosaurus Rex had no chance to react and was hit directly, rolling his eyes back and collapsing to the ground. So this beast is the one that defeated Envy. Wrath finally realized, grinding his teeth in anger. Despicable, pretending to be a normal monster to ambush me. Taking advantage of the Tyrannosaurus Rex's defeat, Ancient Ape, Deathlark, and Wolverine rushed out of the forest and swiftly headed towards the teleportation circle. "Stop them! Their target is the teleportation circle," Wrath shouted. However, by then, Wolverine had already reached the base of the teleportation circle, ready to destroy it. With a swing of his gold slash, the psychic guarding the base was instantly split in 2. Sloth was shocked at the scene. He took down a peak A-level psychic with a single strike. These beasts are powerful, and they smartly attacked the base of the teleportation circle right from the start. He then unleashed a gravity-enhancing psychic power on Wolverine, instantly enveloping him in a gravity field. "No matter how clever you are still just beasts. Do you know what a gravity field is? I'll make you unable to move an inch." Wolverine sneered. "This level of gravity is nothing compared to the gravity guns before." As soon as he finished speaking, he transformed into a werewolf form and swung his gold slash again. Unprepared, Sloth was hit and fell with a crash. However, just as Wolverine was about to destroy the base, the 5th elder, Gluttony, was suddenly teleported in. His massive body violently collided with Wolverine, sending him flying several meters away. Seeing this, Ancient Ape didn't hesitate and ran straight towards the base she was assigned to. She leaped high and smashed her fist towards the base. Unexpectedly, an ice shield suddenly appeared above the base, blocking her attack. Seeing this, Ancient Ape furiously smashed the ice shield, shattering it in an instant. But in the next second, the shattered ice shield turned into numerous ice spikes, shooting towards her. Ancient Ape managed to block most of the attack with her dragon fist, but she was still pushed back repeatedly. Meanwhile, just as Deathlark was about to provide support, she suddenly heard a voice from behind. Shoo bird, where are you looking? Your opponent is me. The second elder suddenly used a petrification skill on Deathlark, and in an instant, her wings began to petrify. No matter how she flapped her wings, she could not maintain balance, and soon she crashed to the ground with a boom. When she looked towards the teleportation circle again, a dozen figures had already appeared on the central platform. Seeing this, I was also shocked. I didn't expect someone to be teleported so quickly, so I quickly ran towards a base, ready to destroy it. However, at that moment, the invisible second elder, Greed, suddenly appeared before me, striking with a poisonous slash. Looking at the wound on my body, I was shocked. When did this guy appear? But as soon as the second elder landed, he instantly became invisible again. When I turned around to attack him, the second elder had already disappeared once more. However, before I could figure out what had happened, the second elder suddenly appeared in front of me again and delivered another poisonous slash. Like this, the second elder repeated the same actions, slashing me countless times. At this moment, the fifth elder, Gluttony, the first elder, Pride, the third elder, Lust, and the second elder, Greed, everyone but Envy from the high ranks of the Nether Sin Palace had entered the secret realm. Worse still, the teleportation circle continued to transport new psychics into the secret realm. Seeing this, Wrath laughed heartily while I fell into anxiety. I knew that if I did not destroy the teleportation circle quickly, more enemies would enter the secret realm. With this in mind, I immediately fired several explosive bombs at the teleportation circle. Seeing this, Wrath quickly warned everyone to defend. We can't let him attack the base of the teleportation circle. No sooner had he spoken than the other psychics used their powers to erect shields in front of the base. But to everyone's surprise, the explosive bombs were instantly bounced back upon touching the shields, leaving Wrath and the others dumbfounded. What the hell? Is this some kind of bouncy ball? Why isn't it powerful at all? However, at that moment, Ancient Ape snorted coldly, met one of the flying back explosive shells, and punched it back in another direction. At the same time, Wolverine and Deathlark also took action, hitting the rebounded explosive bombs back. Instantly, countless explosive bombs whizzed towards the center of the teleportation circle. Sloth, seeing this, muttered, "This is bad." He hurriedly used his gravity vanishing power to erect a giant shield above the teleportation circle, bouncing all the explosive bombs into the air. Just then, I snapped my fingers, and with the sound of boom 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 explosions, Sloth was instantly blown away by the blast and then crashed to the ground with a thud. "Are you alright?" Sloth wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said, "Boss, I'm fine, just shaken by the blast." Seeing this, I gritted my teeth in anger. Damn, they shifted direction at the moment of the explosion. Let them taste my ultimate move. Saying this, my body sparked with electricity as I began to gather energy. Seeing this, Wrath was immediately alarmed and quickly realized it was the move that had instantly killed the Tyrannosaurus Rex earlier. Luckily, while this move was powerful, it took a long time to charge. Thus, he ordered everyone to focus their attacks on me to interrupt my move. Immediately, the psychics used their powers, firing light bullets, death slash, and all sorts at me. At the same time, Wolverine leaped in front of me, continuously swinging his gold slash to block the incoming attacks, while Ancient Ape and Deathlark joined the fight in an instant to help fend off the assault. Just then, the third elder, Lust, used her charm skill on me. I just glanced at her, and his gathering burst breath instantly fizzled out. Looks like I've been hit. Damn. I tried to calm down, struggling against the influence of the charm skill, but the next second my efforts were in vain. My eyes filled with hearts as I looked at Lust. So beautiful. I never knew such a beauty existed in this world. Just then, I saw Deathlark launch a wind blade at Lust, and I became enraged. Damn, you bald bird dare attack my beauty. You're looking for death. Saying this, I began to gather my burst breath, preparing to bring Deathlark down. Ugly dragon, how dare you direct your foul mouth at me? Your target is ahead. Hurry up and take them down. Hearing this, I instantly snapped out of it, feeling relieved in my heart. How did I suddenly fall for that woman just now? Luckily, I didn't attack Bird Sister. Then I thought, could this woman be the third elder Lust that Joji mentioned? It seems I was charmed by her just now, but compared to women, I now prefer female behemoths. With that, I decisively fired my burst breath at the teleportation circle. Seeing this, the first elder hurriedly released an ice shield to block it. Accompanied by a loud bang, the burst breath heavily struck the ice shield. Just as the first elder was shocked that the ice shield was about to shatter, a cracking sound came from the shield, and Lust used her petrification skill on the ice shield, instantly adding a layer of stone shield on top of the first elder's ice shield. However, the first elder glanced at Lust and snorted coldly. Obviously, there was some feud between the two. Seeing this, Deathlark quickly reminded me this woman used her petrification ability on the ice shield. Upon hearing this, I immediately increased my output, causing even the stone shield behind to crack, and the ice shield shattered instantly. Wrath was shocked to see that neither the ice shield augmented with petrification could withstand my attack. We must stop him from attacking the teleportation circle. With that, he used a soul strike psychic power on me, instantly interrupting my burst breath. I didn't expect this guy to be able to strike directly at the soul, and I was caught off guard for a moment. Just then, Ancient Ape shouted, "Watch out!" Just then, a scythe dragon lunged at me, apparently already under Lust's charm skill. well. Soon, several scythe dragons controlled by lust also launched an attack on me, surrounding me. This woman can charm so many dragons. This is a love triangle relationship, and it's definitely not going to work out. Let me wake you all up. Saying this, I used my powerful dragon path move, slamming hard into the scythe dragons. Meanwhile, Wolverine, seeing this, quickly instructed the Ice Wolf leader, "You guys guard the perimeter, keep the secret realm's giants from breaking in, and tell everyone, do not make eye contact with that woman in the air." However, just as he finished speaking, his feet were petrified by lust. Wolverine drew his sword and looked at her coldly, saying, "Woman, your petrification skill is useless against me." But this was exactly lust's trap. She used her charm skill on Wolverine again. Unexpectedly, Wolverine snorted coldly, "A woman only affects the speed at which I draw my sword." After saying this, he swung a gold slash at lust. She didn't react in time and was hit by Wolverine's gold slash, plummeting downward. Fortunately, Sloth noticed in time and used his gravity vanish skill to save her. "Are you alright?" Sloth asked with concern. "What the hell are these giants? Why aren't they affected by my charm? The giant ape and the giant bird are female, so they can't be charmed. But the dragon and the half-wolf are male. How come one can't be charmed and the other broke free instantly? Is there something wrong with them?" Sloth consoled her. "They are just a bunch of simple-minded beasts. Don't take it to heart." The lust responded, shouting, "This is an insult to my beauty." Just then, Wrath walked over. "Just now the Tyrannosaurus Rex I possessed was killed, causing some damage to my soul, but it's mostly recovered now. Once I possess one of them, there will definitely be a big show of them killing each other. Moreover, our human psychic army has already assembled, and our moment of victory is coming." Meanwhile, I looked at Wrath with displeasure and said coldly, "What other tricks do you have? Just bring it on." Wrath grinned mockingly and said, "My forces are already assembled. The decisive moment has come, but it seems you don't have many people." Hearing this, I laughed. "What makes you think we are few? I was just worried that I scared you all away earlier, so I had them stand by on the perimeter." Then, I roared up at the sky. Ancient Ape, Deathlark, and Wolverine also roared. Hearing their roars, the beasts from the Abyssal Island on the perimeter responded, and suddenly roars surrounded the teleportation circle. The human psychic army became immediately panicked upon hearing these roars. Wrath, seeing this, shouted angrily, "Don't panic. They are just a bunch of brainless monsters. You are the finest warriors of the sinful sanctuary." Then, he ordered the others, warriors of the metal and rock types, "Guard the base. I and a few elders will deal with those damned beasts. Attack indiscriminately." At this moment, I turned to the Ice Wolf leader and said, "These human psychics are very powerful. Lead the Abyssal Island beasts to the perimeter to engage them." But before he could finish, the Ice Wolf leader interrupted, "My king, you need not worry about us. This is our home, and we will defend it with our lives. Please let us fight alongside you to the bitter end. True Abyssal Island beasts. Then let's tear them apart and protect our home." Instantly, both sides roared and charged at each other, plunging the battlefield into chaos. However, just then, the second elder, Greed, suddenly appeared in front of me, using a poison slash to ambush and slice through my body, leaving a new wound. "It's you again," I roared angrily, but before my words fell, Greed became invisible again, swiftly changing positions and continuously attacking me. I had been cut multiple times. Anyone else would have succumbed to the poison by now, but I was still able to keep fighting. Your little poison is child's play, far inferior to the previous reptile king. However, as the 36th slash fell, Greed revealed a sinister smile, and his demeanor suddenly changed. 36 poison slash. Explode now. As soon as he finished speaking, I was shocked to find that my previous wounds suddenly spewed a large amount of green fluid. My blade is a treasure of the secret realm, capable of stacking a poisoning effect on the enemy. Hitting 36 slashes can trigger a poison explosion, but I didn't expect you to still be standing. Greed continued, "I still have a 49 poison explosion waiting for you." With that, he launched another attack at me. Due to the poison explosion just triggered, my body began to numb, slowing my movements. As time passed, my movements became sluggish, and I was unable to counter Greed. Greed stuck a blade into my head and taunted, "Now you're just a sitting duck for me to slaughter." Meanwhile, on the other side, Wolverine and Gluttony were directly confronting each other, and after a clash of blows, both were pushed back. "Not bad, not bad. Your strength is indeed formidable, fitting for a power-type psychic." Gluttony also looked pleased and responded, "I didn't expect you, a half-beast, to know about me. I'm not just a power-type psychic." Saying this, Gluttony began searching between his legs, causing Wolverine to grimace at the sight. Suddenly, Gluttony pulled out a vial filled with blood. "See this? This is the blood of an S-class speed-type psychic. I killed him and turned his blood into a potion." After saying that, he gulped down the potion. As the vial shattered on the ground, veins bulged on Gluttony's body, and his eyes emitted a red glow. My body size limits my speed, but after taking this potion, I can have both power and speed-type abilities. Hearing this, Wolverine was shocked, thinking to himself, "I forgot this guy also has absorption abilities." Just then, Gluttony suddenly accelerated, appearing in front of Wolverine, and roared, "Half-beast, go to hell."